Hey, welcome everybody to this week's edition of Meta Market Weekly. We're back and we're happy to have another show for you here. We got action-packed show today, a lot to talk about. So let's just dive right into it. Fernando, how are you today on this Friday?
Hey, Justin, I'm doing great as usual. So yeah, today's podcast is going to be very exciting. As always, I'm going to be sharing my market analysis and we're going to be sharing some news. And yeah, there's a lot going on these days. So there's going to
There
be,
is.
yeah, there's going to be good stuff to talk about. And on today's podcast, we're not just going to share, because I kind of feel like we've been sharing a lot of negative news.
We
And
have.
it's not because we want to be negative, but there's just a lot of that lately. So this time I'm going to try to share something, it's very interesting as well. Not all the the positive news. I'm sorry, not all the positive news are boring. But
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna share some exciting stuff today. So yeah, without further ado, let me start by sharing my trading view account.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Cool. Just a moment. Let me go ahead and change here the daily candles. Awesome. So yeah, as you can see here, on the RSI indicator, I was expecting these levels to go a little bit further down. I was expecting it to go all the way to 35%, maybe a little bit lower, but this didn't happen. And I mean, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Actually, if the RSI level went further below, this meant that the price of Bitcoin was going to go lower. However, this was not the case. And I wanted it to go lower because when the RSI level goes lower, it gives breathing space for the price of Bitcoin. So this
Mhm.
means that the lower it goes, is giving it more space to keep going up. So I mean, on the long term, if it went a little bit lower, it would probably have been better because that would mean that it has more space to keep going up. However, this didn't happen. And I mean, if you're looking at the price of Bitcoin on the short term, I guess this is kind of good because it means that the price of Bitcoin is steady and the trend right now is positive. As we can see here, once the price of Bitcoin started falling, we got into this parallel channel and we only stayed here for like 5 or 6 days. And I mean, like I said, if you're looking at the price short term, this is good because it means that right now the support section is in this parallel channel and we've been here for, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So this is good. I mean, this actually means that there's a lot of support in this level and that the trend is positive and that it's very likely that the price will continue to go up. And actually yesterday we were trying to break, let me zoom in a little bit. We were trying to break this parallel channel, but we didn't. We bounced at the very line and then we continue to go up. So again, on the short term, this is looking very positive. It means that the price of Bitcoin is increasing. And you guys know that when the price of Bitcoin increases, usually the whole market follows. Well, sometimes there's a little lag. Sometimes Bitcoin increases first, and then when it stabilizes at a different parallel channel, then the rest of the cryptocurrency market follows.
Yep.
I guess we'll find out eventually. But let me I'm gonna zoom out a little bit because I'm gonna show you guys what I'm expecting on the. I don't want to say on the long run, but I guess in the foreseeable near future, I am expecting. I have already spoken of this in previous podcasts as well, but I'm just gonna keep mentioning it so you guys are aware of what to expect. Maybe you didn't see the previous podcast. I don't know, but Yeah, so we're basically already at this price range, and I've been expecting us to reach this price range for a couple of weeks, months now, and we're already here. And then the next interesting level is this white line, which is the 38% line at the Fibonacci retracement. I am definitely expecting us to reach this level either this month or the next one, but it's pretty much guaranteed that we're gonna reach this area, which would bring the total price of Bitcoin to around 36K. And if we reach this level and we bounce, then we are most likely gonna come back to this area. But if we don't, if we reach this level and we break it, which I'm very, very positive that we will, then we're gonna go straight all the way to this level, which is this price range is the golden pocket, the 68%. I'm sorry, 62%. And yeah, I mean, once we reach this level, it is very likely that it will be followed by a big retracement, kind of like what we saw on the previous cycle on 2019. We can see here that once we broke the 38% line, we almost immediately went all the way to the golden pocket, and then we had a massive retracement here. So this is pretty much exactly what I'm expecting to happen again, like it's happened in the previous cycle, and the cycle previous to the previous cycle. The market sometimes can be very predictable. Technical analysis is very predictable until there's black swan events happening or outside circumstances that break the pattern. So definitely I'm expecting something like this to happen. Maybe not see a major drawback like this one. So as you can see, once we reached the golden pocket, we had a healthy retracement. Why? Because the RSI level was indicating that we were overbought, which we were, and then, followed by a healthy correction. Then the market started to recover, to reclaim its spot. And then here we had the major COVID crash. This is a black swan event. This is what I mean by a black swan event, when something outside of the, technical analysis happens. It could be, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that we're not going to have a black swan event in the foreseeable future, but it is always possible. It could be something like, I don't know, World War III, could be something like an AI technology overlord, could be aliens. I mean, I don't know, it could be anything. I'm hoping nothing like that's going to happen. Everything's starting to indicate, the market is healthy, that everything looks good, that this is not going to happen, but only time will tell. And we're very close to that. We're months away. No, actually, I think we're like more than half a year away from the next halving. And usually the bull trend happens after the halving, which is, I don't know, like 10 or 11 months away. And after that, we will probably see the beginning of the next bull market. But we're still very far away from that. From now, for the near future, let's stick to the 38% line here and the golden pocket, and we'll see how it goes from there. But in addition to the technical analysis, which is looking very positive, if I may say, I also want to point out that external factors are also looking good for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is that the interest rates right now, they're slowing down. I mean, they're still very high. They're at 5.25%, which is already at a match at the last previous recession that we had on 2007, 2008. We're already at the same level, which, for the economy and the American people and all the countries that are reliant to the US dollar, this is very negative. However, for cryptocurrency and for Bitcoin, it is positive. It means
Very
that,
good.
yeah, so it means that we have plan Bs, right? There's other options for the economy, for the US dollar. So this means that for these other options, this is starting to look good. So not just for Bitcoin, if you let's go real quick for to the price of gold. I think gold just reached an all-time high this week. We reached an all-time high of $2,080. This is the highest gold has ever been. So if we look at this, the further the interest rates keep increasing, and the further things are not looking good for the dollar and for the U.S. economy. I mean, it's going to look better for gold. It's going to look better for crypto. It's going to look better for Bitcoin. And yeah, I mean, I just hope that now that we've reached this very, very, very high level, that it holds here. It's not going to immediately start going down, as you can see from previous recessions and decreases of GDP and increases of interest rates. Once we reach the highest level, it holds there for a couple of months. Hopefully it will be for a short period, maybe 4 months, hopefully not as long as this period. But yeah, I mean, this is good for crypto, and I hope that these interest rates start coming down in, I don't know, I'm expecting them to start coming down maybe by September, a couple of months away from now. But I guess we'll see. We're gonna find out eventually. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to point out that external factors are indicating that it's very good for crypto, is very good for Bitcoin. Not just the technical analysis, from my chart here is indicating that things are positive. External factors are also pointing towards a very positive movement for Bitcoin. And yeah, I don't know if you want to, I think you wanted to mention something regarding the CBDCs happening on, I think there's a block happening in South Dakota or South Carolina, something like that, no?
Yeah, that is a real big positive happening. So, this is another external factor that I think is helping to just make crypto do well, and also kind of get in the spotlight. So North Carolina has joined Florida in passing anti-CBDC legislation. So this is really positive. Basically, the article kind of speaks about, of course, it's going to do this. No thanks. North Carolina lawmakers have passed a bill to ban CBDC payments and block the state from participating in testing, according to co-founder of the Satoshi Action Fund, Dennis Porter. So this is really cool. I think that it is awesome, and they're already kind of implementing the precursor to a CBDC right now, this FedNow system. There's been a lot of miscommunications around this system. It's not a central bank digital currency, but it's a precursor to that. And so there's been a lot of proponents of stopping this from happening, which is really, really good. The fact that it's being talked about on such a large scale is really important in my mind. And I think this is cool. Two states have already passed this legislation, and I hope to see more states doing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, this is great for Bitcoin, and it's great for cryptocurrencies, also for projects like us, for Meta One. These external factors influence a lot what the market is going to do next. So it is great. I think this is great news to know that laws are being thought of in order to block these CBDCs stuff, because it's just tyranny.
Yeah, absolutely. And Meta One, of course, is always holding strong. We're about 510 right now. We've had pretty steady momentum, which is exciting, and the community is growing. It's really cool to see so many people come together, and what's actually been really successful for us in the past 6 months, and is really ramping up, is actually in-person events. And I think that that's really what's going to start to happen more and more in these digital spaces, is even though technology is moving at an amazing rate, and yes, we can sit here, I don't know, you and I are probably 5,000 miles away from each other, but we can sit 5,000 miles away from each other and have this conversation, but there's just something about having that human connection. So that's been really cool and exciting. And, there's a lot of exciting things to think about in the future for Meta. and just blockchain in general. I just think it's so exciting to see the direction that we're going in, and I think it's cool also to see like the community, like the blockchain space and the community like actually starting to come together and unify, and more stand up and say, a big middle finger to the centralized system, and start to really realize that we have to defund and decouple ourselves from the system and stand up and say, hey, listen, like, blockchain is very viable. It's an incredible opportunity and solution for the world, and we don't have to be involved in this crazy centralized system. I also think too, like external market factors with, I don't know if you heard about First Republic Bank failing
Yes.
last week. So for everyone who hasn't heard the news, which you probably already have, First Republic Bank, the second largest bank failure in U.S. history behind Washington Mutual, failed last week, and then they sold it to JP Morgan Chase.
Hey, Justin, but I have a question to you, since I am not familiar with how it is in the United States. So whenever stuff like this happens, if you have money in the bank with them, I mean, is it gone? You don't get it back, or what happens?
Well, there are kind of a couple of different things that happen. So first and foremost, we have what's called the FDIC, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance Commission. I think that's it. And basically, the FDIC insures all deposits up to $250,000. So if you have less than $250,000, the FDIC is quote unquote supposed to actually give you your money back. The thing on that is that they have like years and years and years in law to actually pay you that money back. And at least from several business owners that I've talked to that have actually had this happen with banks in the 2008 era, the funds, the majority of their funds weren't actually repaid. Now, it seems to be a different story in 2023. For example, with the First Republic Bank situation, the FDIC apparently covered $13 billion in deposits, and also when JP Morgan Chase bought the bank, they bought all the deposits along with the bank, and they are going to give all of those people their money back. That's what that has been said. So I think that but typically that's the way it works, is if you have more than $250,000 in your account, you're screwed. But I just think this is all smoke and mirrors, right? I mean, they keep on saying, Jamie Dimon keeps on saying, oh, the banking system is really very, very sound, and
of course, I mean, it's all lies, and at the end of the day, I feel like this is a strategy to centralize the power. I've been starting to add the pieces together, and I feel I am very positive, that the whole COVID situation, I already know that it was created in a lab, and it's there was a reason behind it, but I'm starting to connect the dots, and I think that the reason behind it is to liquidate all private banks and start centralizing the power. So there's a lot of private banks out there, and by doing this orchestrated recession, they're liquidating these banks, and eventually there's only going to be like 10 or 20 major banks. And I mean, and obviously, the people that control the planet are going to be owning these banks. So that's what I think, and it's starting to feel that way.
I agree with you, man. And I'll actually go even further. I was listening to Andy Frisella's Real AF podcast the other day, and they were kind of going over this, talking about First Republic, etc. The co-host has done a lot of research, and basically what he found is a couple of different things. The majority of banks that failed in 2008, JP Morgan Chase bought them. And additionally, these banks, First Republic Bank, Signature Bank, several of these other banks that have failed in the past couple of months are hubs for a lot of Democratic think tank and also political donor uses these banks. So now how this connects to this actually connects to the Jeffrey Epstein thing, which you're probably kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But what's happening is, if I don't know if everybody heard, but JP Morgan Chase is being sued by one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims for they're complicit in helping to bankroll this whole human trafficking, human sex pedophile organization that he was running or a part of. And so basically the idea that this person who was the co-host of the show brought up was, what if these banks are being bought or being forced to fail and then being bought by JP Morgan Chase? Because what happens when a bank fails? When a bank fails, all of the deposits, the names of the accounts, et cetera, they're not available anymore. No one can have access to them, et cetera. So what if these banks are failing and JP Morgan Chase is buying them to cover up the fact that these people who have a big, powerful influence in the Democratic Party have been a part of this human trafficking pedophile organization? And I don't think it's a far-fetched theory at all. So
no, I agree entirely with you. I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on out there, but we definitely already know that it's dark. We already
sure.
Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it that the people in control, they're doing some very dark stuff. We don't know exactly what's going on, but we know that it's dark, it's evil, and we're just rolling with the punches right now.
Yeah, man. So it's quite interesting, but overall, like, we're going back to the conversation that we were having. It's all very positive for crypto, and as much as I don't want to see any banks fail as much as anybody else, because obviously it hurts people, it hurts regular people, but overall, I think that what happens here is that when these things happen, people start to really it can be a catalyst for those people who are still asleep, and they finally, something happens and they finally start to question and go, there's something wrong here, something is not correct in this system. And it's just this George Orwell kind of world that we live in, where bad is good and good is bad, and
it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, let's go on to some positive news. I know you wanted to talk about the really exciting thing that the president of El Salvador just did a couple days ago.
Do you want me to go ahead and share my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second because I had that window closed.
Yeah,
just a sec. One moment. There we go. So yeah, I just wanted to talk real quick about something going on El Salvador. So it means it seems like from now on, the president, he already signed the bill. So this is already up in action. We can see it. He actually tweeted from his own Twitter account that he has already signed a bill that will eliminate all taxes, income, property, capital, and import tariffs on technology and in technological innovations. So this is very interesting because he's doing exactly the opposite of what the US is doing. He's inviting technology, he's inviting the people to invest in the country, he's inviting innovation. And a lot of people is starting to look at El Salvador. They think that El Salvador is the next Dubai, is the next Silicon Valley. And I personally am a huge fan of Nayib Bukele. I think he's amazing. I think the world needs a lot more of people like him. And I just applaud what he's doing. What do you think, Justin?
I agree, man. I think it's amazing. I think that this is the example of leadership. This is the example of having a forward-thinking mind and wanting to actually support innovation. And I think this is the way that you do it. I think he's very smart, as a leader of his country. The unfortunate part is El Salvador has been a very violent third world place for quite a long time. And I really agree with you. I think they could be the next Dubai or the next Silicon Valley for sure, with what he's doing. And it makes it appealing for everyone. Not only that, but they're a very cryptocurrency and blockchain friendly country as well.
Yeah.
So that's incredible because a lot of the times, even if there are other countries that are offering incentives to tech companies, cryptocurrency companies or projects still get ostracized. And so I think it's beautiful that they're including cryptocurrency in this kind of idea here. And I think it's going to push a ton of companies there. And
Absolutely.
the US are they're doing it on purpose, but it's very backwards, and it's very dumb for them to be doing this, because what's going to happen is they're going to push all companies that are interested or involved, other than the major, the big ones that are funded by the government, like the Google and Microsoft. They're going to push all of these companies out. I'm telling you now, it's going to start with cryptocurrency companies and blockchain, which you're about to talk about now, but it's going to start to leak into other tech companies, tech sectors, because the situation in the States has gotten so out of control. There's no proper regulation. There's no clarity on regulation, et cetera, and the taxes are ridiculous, and no one is going to want to do business here anymore. And unfortunately, the only person that it's going to end up hurting is the American, and so that's that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I want to go visit El Salvador and pay at regular stores with Bitcoin and check out what they're doing, because I think it's really cool. So anyway,
Absolutely. We should head to the Bitcoin beach. I've heard that there's one already.
yeah, I heard this one too. That's really cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
we should definitely check it out sometime. But going back to what you were saying, so one of the we've already talked about this before about what happened to Coinbase, but now it's final. So Coinbase has already opened their new platform in Bermuda. And the reason why they went to Bermuda is exactly what you were just saying. They're pushing innovation outside of the US.
Yep.
And that's it's already happening. So the country is going to be divided. All these tech companies are going to go out like Coinbase just did. And at the same time, Coinbase is suing the SEC. And apparently the SEC has 10 days to respond to what what Coinbase is expecting from them. Because even though Coinbase has left, well, they didn't entirely leave the US. I guess what they did, they divided their company in two, and one is for the people in the US and one is for international users. But their hopes right now for the people in the US are not very high, because whatever they do, they always stumble into problems. So they're I guess they're tired of working in the US, and we'll see eventually what happens. But definitely, it's not looking good for the US if things keep going this way. I think it is probable that eventually maybe some states will separate from the United States, and we'll have different new countries, like Texas one. Not a lot of people know this, but Texas at one point was an independent country. And if we don't get everything aligned, if we don't start getting diplomat and finding solutions, I'm pretty sure that eventually the US is gonna break into new countries. But we'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of thing that happened with manufacturing in the United States. Their manufacturing was a huge thing in the United States in the 50s and the 60s, even in the early 70s. And because of the way that legislation happened, because of we've had the same repeating greed and self-serving politicians in Washington for decades and decades. They just got to the point where, you know, other countries were just doing better and offering cheaper labor and offering incentives, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, they moved, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And you know, what's interesting too is I was just reading an article the other day that there are more Americans leaving America now than there ever have been. And that doesn't surprise me at all, actually, because even as a regular American, you know, you pay 70+% in taxes, you know. And the thing is what people don't think about is, well, they just think about their 25 or 30% they pay in income tax. But every time you buy something in the United States, you pay a tax. Every time you register your vehicle or re-register it, you pay a tax. Every year you have to pay property tax on your house that you own. So all of these things add up to about 65 or 70% of your total income in taxes, which is just insane. And it's a situation where it's not a situation where we have to do that to be able to run this country. We can actually do it in a different way. So yeah, I agree with you. I think we're really going to see. I'm starting to see for tech, especially blockchain. You know, I think you probably agree. I'm starting to see Hong Kong do a lot of very interesting stuff. They just made some really interesting moves with legislation there. Obviously, El Salvador and Dubai and the UAE. I mean, those seem to be the places where they're just embracing blockchain. They're making the regulatory guidelines very, very simple and straightforward, and they're offering tax breaks and tax incentives. It's a simple equation. I mean, that's how you spur growth. And we talk about this all the time in our project, where, you know, think about the fact if someone didn't have to pay if a business owner didn't have to pay payroll tax and 70% tax on what their company brings in, what would that allow them to do? That would allow them to hire more people. It would allow them to expand their business faster. It would spur innovation, and it would spur jobs, and everyone would be more abundant. So, you know, it's just a simple concept that I wish people would understand. But, you know, unfortunately, right now we've got self-serving politicians in Washington, and, you know, hopefully we can find solutions here using blockchain technology and other technologies to change the system to one that is favoring of humanity, and that's what we want to do. So anyway,
absolutely, I agree. And on top of that, on top of all the taxes that you mentioned, add inflation. So it's
man, which is a tax too. So I mean, shit, you're talking about over 70%, which is insane.
We're getting owned, as the kids would say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can look at it. You can look at it from the perspective of, at least in the United States, the states. You know, because each state has a different kind of tax laws too within state. And like, for example, you know, there are a few states in the United States like Arizona and Florida and Texas that don't have income tax, and there's a huge advantage to that because they spur more economic growth. I mean, it's like that. It's just, to me, it's like the simplest thing ever. It's like, all of us humans, we all want an abundant world, we all want to make more money, we all want to be prosperous. Why don't we just make it easy for people? Simple, straightforward rules, low taxes, and actually take the money that you get from taxes as a government and put it towards the security and safety of everyone in the nation. What a smart idea.
I agree, but it's all about control in the
I
end.
know it is. I absolutely know it is. But anyways, you know, but I think it's cool. I'm really excited to see this. I think that we're gonna have an explosion of tech and blockchain specifically in these regions of the world, and the US is gonna be left behind. And you know, that is what it is. But you know, it's cool to see. And there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Africa around blockchain too, which I think is really exciting. And I think these are the places that we're going to start looking towards in the future. You know, Central America, Africa, the Middle East. You know, these are going to be the new epicenters of tech. I think that's really cool.
So. Yeah, no, I agree entirely.
Yeah.
So yeah, which brings me to well, this is unrelated to what we were talking about, but like I said at the beginning, I wanted to share some more cheerful news, and one of them that I wanted to share with you guys is that apparently Coin Market Cap is going to be launching their own Shark Tank TV show, and it's going to be called Killer Whales. So this is going to be it's gonna be pretty much the same as Shark Tank, but it's gonna be for cryptocurrencies. So people are gonna be able to pitch, their cryptocurrency projects at this new Killer Whales program, and I don't know, it seems pretty interesting to me.
That's hilarious, man. I love it. I mean, hey, why not have some fun, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
we'll see if anything good comes of it. But that's cool. And hey, I would just say to new folks that are jumping into blockchain for the first time, this might be an amazing show for you to watch, because you can really you might be able to see. I mean, I don't know, since the show hasn't premiered yet, but if they do it right, you might really be able to see the incredible application and use for blockchain technology. I think that was one of the most exciting things for me when I went to the blockchain conference in Miami that we went to in January. They had like a pitch session during lunch one day, where basically each company or each project got like 3 minutes to pitch. And the applications for blockchain technology was very wide. It wasn't just like, oh, here's a new meme coin. It was, this is real world application. And it was so cool to see the diversity of the applications that were being presented. And I think, other than the internet, I think this is the only other technology out there that has such an incredibly wide range of applications. And so that was really cool. So maybe this show will be like that too.
we'll see. I mean, I don't know exactly when it's going to be released, but once I know, I will definitely share that information in this podcast.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Awesome. And finally, I wanted to share with you guys this. I don't know if you've heard of this new meme coin called Pepe.
Oh my gosh.
Or I don't know how to pronounce it, Peep or Pepe, I'm not sure. But this meme currency launched like 2 weeks ago, and some people are making millions of it. I saw, well, this article is talking about someone who invested $1,000 and I know $4,000 and made it $1 million. But I've heard a lot more stories like this one. I heard of a guy that invested like $300, and right now his net worth is around $8 million, like something ridiculous. And I just wanted to show you guys real quick. I mean, it makes me a little bit upset because I invest in crypto and I have money in other projects, and I mean, it doesn't make me angry, but it makes me scratch my head how something that is meaningless is literally a meme coin, and it's already valued at $1.4 billion. $1.4 billion. And I'm gonna go
ridiculous.
And I want to show you something even more ridiculous. I'm gonna go to their website, and if you scroll all the way down, I want you to see what they say about themselves. So Pepe Coin has no association with Matt. Sorry, let me see. Okay, got it. So Pepe Coin has no association with Matt Fury or his creation, Pepe the Frog. This token is simply paying homage to a meme we all love and recognize. Pepe is a meme coin with no intrinsic value or expectation of financial return. There is no formal team or roadmap. The coin is completely useless and for entertainment purposes only.
I think this is just this is just a comment on the current state of humanity.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's exactly what it is.
So pretty much this is a joke. It is a joke that is already valued at $1.4 billion. If you would have invested, when it was, I don't know, like at 1 million market cap, if you would have put in $1,000 right now, you would have like $1.4 million. It is ridiculous, but hey, it is what it is. And congratulations to all the lucky people who wrote this this meme coin from the bottom and sold all the way to the top. I applaud you. I mean, I wish you would have told me about it and I would have invested too, but it is what it is. And it's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of things, but it is what it is.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Well, those people just gotta watch the lifetime opportunity, because I guarantee
Yeah,
it will be the only run that this coin will have, and no one will remember it in 3 months. So
absolutely.
well, anyways, yeah, that was the show, guys. Hope everyone really enjoyed. As usual, please like and subscribe. Click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Clicking subscribe helps you get notifications. Click the like button to be able to share the show more, and share the show. I mean, if you like something that we said, or you liked a topic that we talked about, share it with friends and family, share it with your colleagues. And we want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below if you have any comments on any of the things that we talked about today. And of course, share with us your thoughts if you have something for the future that you want us to talk about on the show. And with that, Fernando, you have anything closing words to say before we disconnect here?
No, you covered it all. Just give us a like, share the information, and until next time.
Until next time, everybody, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.